Hello everybody, welcome to Inside the PHL, our first edition, inaugural episode. I am Kyle Haggerty alongside my co-host, Bob Kellert.
We're here to make something more intense than it really should be, even more.
And we dig deep, we ask the hard questions. No, but we'll be talking a little bit about fantasy, some one-on-one interviews with certain players, talk about Caveman of the Week, such things like that, so that we give you guys the scoop from the past weekend and how we look forward to the next weekend. Hello everybody, it's Kyle Haggerty again. I'm alongside Dave Caravella, who is the man for the Berserkers.
Thank you,
Dave, I just have a few questions to ask for you.
Sure.
We do this with everybody. You're not special, but
Not at all.
what I want to ask you is, how does it feel to be one-on-one looking up at the NIF Kings? What can you guys do to jump ahead in these standings next week?
Well, I feel like the Berserkers this year, it's a completely different team. It's a defensive team this year, you know? So that's why I've been playing a lot of defense. We have Bob Kellert, who's an amazing defenseman. We got Gels, who just joined the team, and his stamina is by far, you know, some of the best stamina I've seen in the PHL. So I think that's how the Berserkers are going to kind of look at games now. We're not going to be really that offensive threat that, you know, I was used to with the Quillmen and the Berserkers last year. So that's definitely something that we're going to look to this year, is being more of a defensive team.
How does it feel to have safety in net behind you with Dan Chico?
That's probably the best thing you could ask for in a hockey game. I always feel like in a hockey game, best goalie, that he always gives you the best chance of winning. So just by having Dan Chico back there, you know, get a couple breakaways, you can have confidence that he's not going to let much past him.
Some people say that, and I'll be one of those people that say that you are the talent on your team, and around the league, you can pick out certain people, such as Chris LaMagra, Joe Zeleny, yourself included. How does it feel to be one of those people that has that target, that has that adversity that you have to overcome to perform to that level?
It's different from previous years, as you said. Like my first year when I was with the Quillmen, I had you on my team, I had Berdor on my team. It's kind of like a safety net. And the same thing with last year, I had Joe. So no matter what, kind of like it spreads the attention around. But this year, like you said, like it's a completely different situation. So I kind of evolved my game a little bit and work more getting assists, things like that, playing more defense and trying to, even though the attention's going to be on me, kind of use that to my advantage, draw the attention to me. And that's why, you know, have some of my teammates step up like Bobby did last week, scored 2 goals. So
from the way you make it sound, it seems like team chemistry isn't a problem right now.
Right now, no. I mean, we had a lot of guys return from last year. It's basically the same team, and Gels has stepped up, and we've you know, worked out pretty well so far. So I like our chances going into next week.
And how do you feel next week's going to end up? A 2-0 next week?
I feel no matter what, we're going to be competitive in every single game, no matter who we face. So I think it's a definite possibility.
Spoken like a true 2-time champion right here. Dave Caravella for you.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, I'm Bob Kellert. I'm here with Star Motherfucker franchise tag for all 4 years of the PHL, Brandon Folse. How you doing, Brandon?
Good. How you doing, Bob?
Last week, you guys went 1-2. I mean, 1-1. You had a lot of penalties. How was it being on the penalty kill, and why were you guys so effective?
I mean, I really feel like Vito and I, as a penalty kill, I'll call it a squad, even though it's only like 2 people. But I really feel like we work well together, and we realize, you know, the important thing is to clear it out of our zone, don't give them that shot opportunity, and, you know, it really shouldn't come down to that. You know, we need to make sure that we're not having to have all these penalty kills and really focus on our play and not get all these 3-on-2s where they get, you know, such an advantage.
Yeah, a lot of just mental mistakes. Justin getting a lot of delayed games. He'll probably take care of that next week.
I talked to him about that, and I did, very extensively, with a few choice words.
Yeah.
But since this is a children's network, I'm not going to say them.
How's the lip doing?
It's good, Joe. It's all right. You know, it's ugly, but it's healing and makes me hungry. So the next time we play the NIF Kings, it's going to be intense.
Yeah, the league's definitely trying to crack down, call more penalties like that. Do you think it's heading in the right direction? I mean, there's going to be missed calls once in a while. We added a side ref. We didn't have that for your game. You think that definitely would have helped?
I think that it would have helped. Partially, I think that it shouldn't have mattered. Drawing blood, I didn't draw blood on myself. So when there's blood drawn, I think there should be more precaution
Trying to
kind
find out.
of look at the play, because I'm not gonna, I know it's possible, but I'm not gonna purposely whack myself in my face with my stick.
No.
But as far as heading in the right direction, reffing is doing a decent job, calling a lot more. Offsides is, there hasn't been a lot of offsides called, but that's due to the fact that players are getting back on sides and, playing it correctly. Icing's fine. But just really watching the penalties, making sure that you're watching out for everything. The slashing's not the only penalty and things, and high sticking's not the only penalty. Throwing elbows or things of that nature also need to be watched. And like you said, not everything can be called, but, I believe if there's, like in my case, when there's blood drawn, there should be something.
So like go back in the footage maybe and find out who did it.
Right.
Last week, teams maybe had only one person from their team score a certain goal, or maybe two different people on the week. You guys had 4 different goal scorers between you, Bange, Vito Cirillo, and John Geller. Sorry, and John Geller. Do you have anything to say about that? You guys seem to be working more of a team instead of relying just on your shown in the past powers about scoring. You guys are relying on your team, not just you. How do you feel about that?
Well, this year we have a little bit different of a mentality. We feel like we have a pretty athletic team, and we're trying to get up and down the court, which is why you see such a variety of goal scorers. Because like the previous years, we kind of had 2 people really staying on defense, or 1 person staying on defense, not really trying to take the shots, but we're kind of opening it up, trying to play with things a little bit, see what works best for us, and we think we found our little niche that works pretty well. And huge man, we're gonna get you that goal, don't you worry.
Next week you got Quellman Ice Spiders. Who are you looking forward to the most? Short and sweet.
Quellman.
All right, there you got it. Brandon Folse, sign up to Quellman. It's gonna be a showdown. That's it. Thank you, man. Throwdown.
Nothing.
I'm here with Mike Armstrong, the Nith Kings goalie, and one of the cavemen of the week, second caveman of the week. Mike, I have a few questions to ask you. You ready for this?
No.
Well, then we're done. All right, first question I have to ask for you. How does it feel from last season being a skater, going into net, and then being one of the top performers this year in net?
Well, starting off the Mother Puckers, it's a great team with Folse and Pennsylvania. It's a great run by Ernst. And coming in, I wanted to play net, but with Pennsylvania being one of the better ones, there was no need for me to play net, so I started playing defense. And one thing led to another.
Very nice. The management seems like it's taking care of itself, getting a little bit of penalty minutes, but he looks like he's got his team under his wings. My second question for you is, how does it feel now, seeing how well your team performed? What can you guys do to carry the momentum that you brought into your first 2 games into your next 2 games?
Just do it again.
Do it again?
Just do it again.
How's the chemistry right now on the team?
It's looking good. Between both Seleni and Cookie Monster, it's they're looking good. Birdie's playing great defense. Great surprises out of both Podesta and Patterson. Just keeping it up.
And it seems, we were talking, that Podesta only scores game-winning goals, so I guess we got to keep feeding him the ball.
Tied games, just keep him out there.
I
Run
hear
till he's
you.
dead.
Very nice. And what can we look forward to this upcoming week in PHL's second week? What do we expect from Mike Armstrong in that again?
We're going to keep that in the locker room.
You heard it right here.
I'm Robert Kellert, Commissioner of the PHL, here with Quellman star Chris LaMagra. Let's talk about your game against the Ice Spiders the other day. You got your team up 4-2. You broke the seal after getting shut out that first disappointing game. So is there any frustration when the game finished 7-4 after doing all that work?
Yeah, severe frustration, Bob, if you ask me. Scoring 4 goals and then just having a full team collapse it's tough.
So is there any problems in the locker room between you guys? Any blame getting pointed around?
No blames or anything, but I think we're gonna have some roster changes for the next games.
Oh yeah, goalie change.
We'll let the story unfold.
All right. Next week you got Berserkers, Motherfuckers, 2 formidable teams. and you started 0-2 against the Nif Kings and the Ice Spiders. How do you think you're going to finish out next weekend?
I have some high expectations. We're playing some really tough teams. Berserkers, who have Caravella, good scorer, and Chico, who's great in net. But I feel like we can pull through and beat some really tough teams.
Yeah, the Ice Spiders and Nif Kings beat the Clawmen for their first time in franchise history ever since 2009. This past Sunday. Never thought that would happen.
Yeah, that's them Nif Kings, man, coming out of nowhere. They really surprised the league.
While we got you here, getting off topic of this disappointing start to the season when you start 0-2, in general, it seems like everyone's kind of got a target on you because you have a history in hockey. People view you as really good with the stick, and shoot from anywhere, score. How do you feel having a target on your back all the time?
It gets a little tough during the games because there's always somebody there against me, and there's always somebody with their stick in my stick, and fair play. But
yeah,
it just gets tough when you try and making plays, and there's always someone there.
Mm-hmm. Any mental aspect to it? Did it annoy you at all, or?
Not usually. I usually am pretty good with keeping the cool.
A little bit of fun. All right, well, that's all I got for Chris LaMagra.
Five, 4, 3, 2. Go. Rip it. Yeah, baby. Let's go. Yeah. Oh, wait.
Hey guys, talk about a little bit about fantasy now with you guys. I'm sitting right next to Chris LaMagra, who basically designed the entire thing and made up a spreadsheet entirely with Mike Armstrong, the goalie for the Nif Kings. And we're kind of here to break down a little bit about the fantasy with you guys and tell you guys who our picks are for next week, who to pick, who to drop, things like that. First off, I just want to ask you, I want to tell you, this is an amazing idea. I think the way that it came out, it just totally brought a different edge to the entire game. How do you feel about competitiveness, right now?
Well, first of all, I want to say thanks to Bob Kellert for making the joke a reality. Then next, I really think it improves the game. I mean, people are playing because they not only want to score for themselves, but for their fantasy team. And, there's people on the sidelines cheering for them now. I mean, last season there were people cheering, but it was for, different reasons. Now people are saying, why don't you score a goal or get an assist because I need the points.
Yeah, I think I cheered for more defensive marks that I didn't have than anybody else cheering for defensive marks. Thank you, Kellert.
Yeah.
So I think it's just really cool that we can have that type of dimension to the game now because now everybody wants to play for everybody.
Yeah.
One thing I want to ask you is, I know fantasy doesn't matter because it is fantasy, but when you look at the stats that we had from certain players last week, who really stuck out for you? Who was the best performer for you guys?
The best performer, I'm definitely going to have to say Ryan Patrick. 5 goals, 3 assists. That's pretty big numbers there.
And big defensive marks too. 19 DMs.
Yeah, 19 defensive marks. Definitely a player to look out for next week. His player value went up a lot, and I feel like he's gonna show up again next week.
Absolutely, and to go along with players that just score uncontrollably, Joe Zeleny, again with another big week, putting up big numbers, coming right behind Ryan Patrick. I mean, he's another guy to watch out for. He's more expensive than Ryan, but I mean, we'll get to that with the numbers in a second. But it looked like Ryan Patrick was the pick to be. How about rookie-wise, since we didn't really have anything to go off of? How does it look now in the upcoming week with the rookies, with some prices going up, some going down? What do you think about rookies next week?
Some key rookies I think would be Vito. He had a lot of a lot of chances, a lot of opportunities for
He
goals.
looks like he knows what he's doing. He looks like he's got a hang
he's
of
got
it.
a nice shot. I think next week he's gonna be able to put some goals in the net. Another guy is Kyle Patrick. He had a bunch of assists, couple goals. You know, he's
Second in points from last week under his brother.
His value's gone up quite a bit since the first week. One other guy, can't think of his name.
Another rookie.
Yeah.
John Kellert, Bill Patterson.
Oh yes, John Kellert. John
I
Kellert.
couldn't think of his name.
Sorry, mind block. John Kellert put in a goal on Sunday, and surprised.
In a
Well,
team
me.
where it seemed like everybody could score on the team, I thought Pennsylvania might get one in too, but he just let them in.
Yeah.
Which brings me to my next point: is how do we feel about the rising and falling of values? Like we see this week, the biggest rise is Ryan Patrick for obvious reasons. He put in a lot of effort and he got a big reward for it. Now he's one of those top 5 guys that you have to pay for, quote unquote, to get him. How about the guys that dropped the most? Who dropped the most this week?
People who drop are Eamon Flanagan. I don't know. I feel like the teams that he played against were they were there to play.
It seems like the players that benefited the most from fantasy, point-wise, goalie, Mike Armstrong, and player-wise, Ryan Patrick, ended up playing the Quailmen, so it ended up in that favor, that kind of way.
Yeah, it was strange how the top team of last season.
Shit the bed.
Shit the bed.
Thank you for that, Bob. Yes, there was fecal matter everywhere, if you will. But yeah, I mean, Mike Armstrong, huge game against the Quailmen with a shutout too, bonus points.
So it's definitely different. It's a different aspect when you see how much goalies actually matter now with this fantasy game, and how much defense counts towards it. Another thing that's actually quite surprising to some of the people that do the fantasy league is the penalties actually count towards the points.
Towards.
Do you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, it was going to be for every penalty minute you got, it was going to be a quarter of a point. So we only do 40-second penalties here. So I figured for every 20 seconds of a penalty you have, you get a quarter of a point.
That makes sense. I think what people didn't understand at first, when I was talking to Mike about the scoring system, is when you do salary cap online fantasy hockey, the penalties actually count towards your player. So he wanted to keep that going the same way, and not that we don't want to deter penalties in the league because we're trying to crack down on them, but we'll keep it the same way, and it doesn't seem to be hurting anybody anyway. I mean, my team finished pretty low, and my lip was perfectly fine at the end of everything. Do you see these lips?
Beautiful.
Okay. Yeah.
Beautiful lips, if you
Good
ask
lips,
me.
if you ask me.
Yes. Just gorgeous.
Something to go off of for next week. How do we feel about who's the breakout star for you next week? Who do you pick to say? Who do you say?
My star is going to be the same as last week. It's going to be Armstrong.
Mm-hmm.
He's real strong in net. I feel like he's going to have a lot of saves and wins and shutouts.
Mm-hmm.
So all big numbers for fantasy. He's the goalie.
Absolutely. If I'm going to go with best value for points, I'd have to stick with Ryan Patrick. It just makes sense. Even though he went up a little bit, he's still in that medium zone where I could pick him first on fantasy and build my team around him. He's got all the skill that he needs. He's never talked about enough. I think that he's got a lot of talent, and he's going to be scoring a lot of goals in the near future. Who do you think is the best value right now? Who would you say is the best value right now?
Best value? Probably still either Ryan Patrick or Kyle Patrick. Their prices are still a little bit low for the quality of player they are, and
Kyle Patrick might be a steal for this week if anybody's building a team.
I think they can put out some serious points.
Who do you think? What do you think matters more, offensive points or defensive marks? Trying to grab them on the stat sheet.
It depends on your type of player, really. I mean, if you're someone like Bob Kellert, who instinctively is always in a defensive position, I think
Fetal next week. No, I'm just kidding.
I think defensive marks would probably play out in his favor. I mean, they do add up after a while, and they do get your points, even though goals are 3 points each. I feel like defensive marks can catch up quick.
So if anybody could, for whatever reason, try to grab you for their offensive marks and Bob for their defensive marks, you think they'd be pretty solid as a team?
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's probably bringing the price range a little too high up just to start off with. But who will be? I mean, I know we say Kyle Patrick a lot, and I know we say Ryan Patrick a lot. Let's pick a dark horse. Who do you think out of a not even a draw of a hat, but a random? Who would you say could jump out this week for you?
I'm gonna go with Vito.
Mm-hmm.
Vito Cerullo. I apologize if I butchered that name, but
Sorry,
he like I said before, he has a strong shot and definitely the scoring capability. So he's gonna be our dark horse for this week.
Absolutely. And you heard it right here. Fantasy extraordinaire, Chris LaMagra right here.
All right, week 1 we had some talk over the penalties, so we're just going to go over and show everything that we caught on video. This first one was a tripping call. I think this was a good call. Some people saying we're a dive, but I think it's a good call. Threw his hands up for the call maybe at the end of it, but that's about it. With a high sticking here. People are saying I was bending over, but I think that would have been a high stick no matter what. This one was to the ref's discretion. I still like the call. Things were getting a little rough in the corner. Up to the ref. Could have gone either way. This is one thing I want to address. These icing touch-ups are getting a little dangerous. From now on, this is going to get called if you run someone into the wall like that. This was just a miscommunication between the side refs and our player. Unfortunately, had to get a penalty for too many men on the ice for it. This is a high stick penalty. You hit him on the shoulder, high arm. Still a high stick penalty. It was a good call. And with all the aggravation this weekend, everyone needs to follow this example. Just hug it out, all right? I know there were some missed calls too. We're going to try to take care of it. Sometimes the call goes your way. Sometimes it doesn't. Let's just keep playing, have fun, all right? See you, dudes.
We're back with you now. We're going to be talking about a couple little factoids about who we think will be the best performers, who were the best performers of this past week, and who will be future best performers. Bob, to start it off, who was your player of the week last week?
My player of the week, other than Mike Armstrong, who we already interviewed, Ryan Patrick. He took games into his own hand. 5 goals, 3 assists. Insane.
It's a sore subject.
Yeah, some of those goals. And on top of that, 19 defensive marks. He was around breaking up plays from the other team and everything, so he was all over. Has to be Ryan Patrick. How about you, Kyle?
Mine's definitely Dan Chico. Dan is just an ultimate performer in the net. He's a big body. He gets in the way of multiple shots. He dives all over the place. He's there to sacrifice for his team. He kept his team into the game. He makes it look so easy. And I know he's got the raggedy old pads and he's got that grunge kind of attitude about him, but he'll try to stop you no matter what. He talks a little bit of trash. It's pretty cool. I like that. But he's still got lots of gamesmanship, and he definitely just performed to the utmost.
Yeah, he even had Ryan Patrick curse in his name a few times.
Exactly, and Ryan Patrick does not curse. Well, yeah, he does. To move on, let's talk about
some rookie performances.
Absolutely. The rookies this week were on par. They were everything that we didn't expect them to be, which was amazing. It's really cool to see new talent come into the PHL and just excel. Who do you have for the rookie performer of the week?
My rookie, someone really impressed me who I never really met before this, Vito Cerullo on the Motherpuckers. His stats weren't too crazy last week, but he showed a lot of great stick handling and had an awesome game winner in overtime against the Berserkers. How about you?
Very clutch performance, I agree. I'm going to have to go with somebody who beat my team up a little bit, and Kyle Patrick. And when I tell you that this kid's got skill, it doesn't fall far from the bloodline. He puts the puck in the net. He gets great assists. He knows where to be. It's almost like a little connection. Like how we had the Bava connection, the Janos connection. We definitely had it. He's second in points this past week, and right underneath his brother. And they just led their team to a huge victory over the Quailmen, who was very surprising that we didn't expect them to drop 2 games, and they did it together, brother combo.
Yeah, one of my favorite goals actually from the week. Kyle Patrick had it along the wall, and he flipped it over some defensemen to get over to the other side of the slot, and his brother rang it home. It was pretty sweet.
It's almost like he played hockey before.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, how about let's look forward to next week. I think that a person that's going to have a breakout week next week, besides our main goal scorers, I look to I'd like to have a nice week, but I looked at Brandon Folse because Brandon Folse has all the offensive weapons that a team needs, and he still, even though does like to take as many shots as he can, he's got that wicked slap shot. He does like to get back on defense. He likes his breakups. He likes his keeps. He likes giving the ball to his other players, and he likes scoring. And boy, when he scores, you know about it, and it's a big celebration.
My player to watch next week is actually Kyle Haggerty sitting right here. Didn't have the best week the first week, but neither did the rest of his team. Usually when he doesn't have a good week, well, other than Chris LaMagra, but usually when he doesn't have a good week, he comes back hard next week. He always tries. He's a good teammate. He'll get some assists out there. I think Kyle Haggerty's going to have a good week next week.
How do we feel about our overall standings? What team do you think is going to jump out next week from the standings?
Well, the Nif Kings, I mean, I can't say I was totally surprised. They look pretty good on paper, but I didn't expect them to shut out the Quailmen and stuff. I really didn't expect the Quailmen to be at the bottom. I gotta see the Quailmen rising up next week, either defeating the Berserkers or the Motherpuckers. But I think the top of the standings are going to be between Nif Kings, Berserkers, Quailmen right now.
I think it's very even along the whole league with shots against and shots for and defensive marks. We're all very even and clean cut. I think a team that's going to rise to the occasion will be the Quailmen. I think we're going to have a great week this week. We're going to get back on track. It was kind of looked like an experiment almost that went wrong the first week, so we'll see what happens. In Chris's interview, he told you that we might be making some roster changes, so you guys will see that on Sunday, and you'll see how that works out and pans out for us.
One thing I know I'm going to hear about, not mentioning the Ice Spiders being at the top of the standings, but next week my game to look forward to, Nif Kings versus Ice Spiders.
Yeah.
Nif Kings, undefeated. They're going against the Ice Spiders, pretty good. Between all the Patrick brothers, Russ Moretti in goal, and Dustin did really well. He had a lot of glove saves, a lot of stuff.
Just when you think that one team chemistry is better than the others with the Nif Kings team chemistry, right there is the Ice Spiders team chemistry. They clicked really well. They know where to be with each other. They know how to call out plays. They know where people with the longer reaches are, where to throw the puck into the zone, and how to react to plays. It's just ultimately, I think these two teams will be on the top of the standings probably throughout this year, unless something drastic happens.
Who do you, Nif Kings, Ice Spiders, who you got?
Nif Kings, Ice Spiders, my prediction. I'll say that the Ice Spiders take this game. I don't think the Nif Kings will go undefeated. We have too much talent in this league. Sorry, guys. But I think the final score will be 4-3, the Ice Spiders.
Yeah, I'm seeing something lower scoring. I think Ice Spiders take it too. I think they're going to try to figure out Mike Armstrong. Mike Armstrong's going to put a huge fight, but I see the Patrick brothers trying to get high on him, put something back in the net.
It might be a battle between goalies. We never know. We might see. On you, Dave.
You got this stuff.
Please tell me get back.
Are you good?
The goalie went up. Yeah, I got the goalie.
Go.
You got the stuff.
Go. Yeah. Moving on. Yeah, just go. Let's see how long the draft takes off. Chicken there. Let's go, Smith. Nice job. All right, Dave.
Go, Dustin.
Good. So there you have it for the first week. So there you have it for the first week, our first installment of Inside PHL. Hopefully we brought you some good answers. Try to get more in depth with everybody that comes along in the PHL. Try to see if we can get some inside scoop for you guys. We'll be back next week with another installment. We'll try to get deeper, we'll try to get harder, and we'll try more sexual innuendos inside the PHL that we can do next week.
I love PHL.
Signing